Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bitcoin podcast here on Moonduck TV. This is episode number 7, probably the last one you're going to get before Christmas and before the new year for that matter, because once Christmas is done, we're going to be all hands on deck for Captain's Draft 4, the Dota 2 minor coming up in Washington, D.C. So might have a little bit of a lull once again in these Bitcoin podcasts, but Josh, we got one in back-to-back weeks, and this has been a very exciting period, so we picked a good window here to actually do a bit of consistent content. But how you doing, man? Another week has already flown by.
Yeah, I know. And usually in the financial markets, like December is when everything is calming down before the year's ends. People are taking vacation, but in cryptocurrency, it seems like stuff just keeps heating up in the space.
Yeah, absolutely. Bitcoin, of course, is down a little bit since when we last talked. We got close to 20, and then we've been kind of tumbling downwards now, sitting around 16K. But I think the first piece of news that we want to talk about is now Bitcoin Cash is on Coinbase. So it's kind of a regular coin now that a lot of users have access to. When it came out last night, the price spiked and then things got shut down, and now it is resumed, and it's kind of leveled out around 4,000, just shy at about 3,900 right now. USD. But last night, dreams seemed like they were coming true, Josh. 9,500 right after the announcement came out.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. There was so much volatility, and Coinbase didn't announce that this was going to happen. And when the Bitcoin Cash fork happened in August, initially Bitcoin or Coinbase wasn't going to support Bitcoin Cash, but then after, I don't know, they changed their minds after about a week and said they were going to support it. January 1st was the date they gave people in an email months back. So the fact that it came out before then and basically caught everybody by surprise, it just basically crashed the site. I know we were trying to send cryptocurrencies yesterday, and Coinbase, I was surprised that they were managed to stay functional the whole time. They may have had some mini crashes, but for the most part, stuff worked just a little bit slower.
Yeah, absolutely. It was sort of a weird roller coaster just seeing a currency locked on Coinbase. When I woke up this morning, I saw a couple articles talking about how there was now investigation for insider trading. I guess apparently the price had spiked kind of shortly before it went live, and that's sort of a clear indication that some people are tipped off of what's about to happen, that it's coming out early on Coinbase. So all sorts of potential trickery behind the scenes, but I guess who really knows as things have resumed trading. Really not very long ago, just a couple hours ago of recording this podcast. So this is all very new stuff that's happening here.
Yeah, that's right. And Coinbase really is kind of like the central hub for, like, I would say the US, where you're trying to turn US dollars into cryptocurrency. It's just a really trusted site, and people tell you not to put your cryptocurrency, leave it on exchanges and everything. But as far as like exchanges go, Coinbase, I mean, that's what I bought my first Bitcoin on years ago, just when they only had Bitcoin. So they've definitely been around pretty long time, and they're known for their security and the precautions of not just releasing a bunch of different coins onto their exchange.
Right.
They pretty much keep it pretty tight with just a few, and they really try to offer premium products to other investors. So they've been trying to, I guess, woo institutional investors by offering secure ways to kind of manage their Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, so that if a hack happens, they don't lose all their money all of a sudden.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe worth bringing up Litecoin now in the wake of Bitcoin Cash coming to light. And Bitcoin Cash is really a weird one because they're vying for the title of actual Bitcoin. And the founder of Bitcoin Cash has been very vocal about how Bitcoin Core, or just regular Bitcoin for the layman's, has really drifted away from the core vision of Bitcoin. And now that the fees to send it has become so high, it's not really a functional currency. It's just something that you're holding, and the value is really intrinsically in your ability to use it. So Bitcoin Cash has a wider ledger, and it can process more transactions, and it can process them faster, and it's also a lot cheaper. I guess that's really the main thing. So it would be cheaper than wire transfers, for example, where right now Bitcoin is actually more expensive than what it costs me to send a wire transfer, in some cases at least. So where does Bitcoin Cash fit into this whole thing? Because they're also competitors with Litecoin, right? Everything I'm describing is sort of the MO of Litecoin. They're the fast mobile coin that is cheap transaction fees that you can send very quickly and use kind of in the place of regular money. So what does this mean for the rest of the space now that Bitcoin Cash is, I guess, an established player? There's really no doubt about it.
Yeah, moving forward, it's going to be interesting to see how Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin kind of compete because in my mind they're competitors and everything. Bitcoin Cash is a bit unique in that it's also trying to vie for like Bitcoin's spot where Litecoin kind of wants to work with Bitcoin. They don't want to just eliminate it. Where I think
Yeah.
Bitcoin Cash that's kind of more their position. Yeah, in the Bitcoin community, there's a big division in school of thought on how Bitcoin should evolve. One is that it should be a more like a digital gold, something that should store value over time. It shouldn't be used for like everyday transactions. You don't use gold for everyday transactions. It should be more of something where you can put money in there and it's a hedge against maybe debt inflation and all this kind of other stuff.
Hmm.
The other school of thought is that Bitcoin should be used for everyday transactions, just like your Visa or credit card or U.S. dollar. Basically, it should be used in those instances, and those schools of thought are very split right now. That's the reason we had the Bitcoin Cash hard fork. That's the reason why we almost had SegWit 2x.
Hmm.
Um, it's because of these different schools of thought on where Bitcoin should evolve. Because right now, just like you said, Bitcoin cannot be used everyday transactions. The amount of people using it has just skyrocketed, and with that, the fees have gone through the roof.
Yeah.
So it's now infeasible to use it. It's I think it costs like $20 now to send like $100. It's just completely ridiculous. Where Bitcoin
Yeah.
Cash has much lower fees. The block time is still the same, so I think Litecoin you may be able to get slightly faster and I think slightly lower fees. But yeah, Bitcoin Cash is just a better way to move your money and everything
Yeah.
without getting eaten up by fees.
Yeah, I mean, to put some actual numbers on it, yesterday I sent zero point zero 0.01 of a Bitcoin to someone. Translates to roughly $180, something like that. And it cost me about $23 to send it. So if you think about the percentage that I had to pay of the money sent, it's pretty substantial. It was definitely not a cheap transaction. But I guess that leads to our next little piece here, Josh. I have an anecdote to share. I took a new step in the crypto front. I cashed in some of my crypto profits over the last few months, and I bought an L3 miner, right? So that's an ant miner from Bitmain that mines Litecoin instead of Bitcoin, so it does script instead of the SHA 256. But it's pretty exciting. It was quite the experience transferring everything around and getting it into the right place and doing the transaction. Definitely a lot of sweating involved, especially since I wasn't the one that actually did it. I sent a proxy to go do the transaction and send the money in. And of course, it was someone who had never handled cryptocurrency before. So we set up a Bitcoin wallet. I sent him a little bit of Bitcoin, realized how long the times were, and went, holy shit, this isn't going to work because you're going to be stuck sitting there for hours while this transaction goes through. So I turned my Bitcoins into Litecoins on GDAX, the exchange. And then I withdrew the Litecoins to my wallet, and then I sent that to his wallet, and then he sent that to this guy's wallet once he actually saw that the miner was up and working in a co-op space. So it was pretty interesting. It was a weird daisy chain of moving payments around, and I'm not going to lie, Josh, I was pretty scared. It reminded me a lot of the first time I built a computer, where I had everything plugged in, and you're about to power it on for the first time, and you're just thinking, I really hope this thing doesn't catch on fire. I don't have any reason to believe that I messed it up, but still, I know it's a one-way street, and if this is wrong, this processor might be fried. Same kind of a deal. It's like, I know if this is just one character off, this whole thing is fucked, but we made it work. I sent the guy like 9 Litecoins. I've got a miner coming in the mail, and I'm a member of the team now, Josh. What's going on?
Yep. No, that's exactly the same feeling I felt when I built my first miner. The first time I actually moved my Bitcoin off of Coinbase because I just had it sitting there for years for the Bitcoin Cash hard fork.
Yeah.
So I can completely relate to it because it is completely a new experience. It's not like you're sending money. You're money from bank to bank or paying someone with check or money. It's completely different experience, especially when you're just sending it to this address of just numbers and letters and
Yeah.
kind of hoping it goes through, and then you can watch the transactions go through on the block explorers.
Hmm.
No, I have the exact same feeling. But once you do it a couple times, you really get used to it, and it becomes just like any other thing. Where I'm sure, yeah, the first computer I built, I was stressed out and everything, making sure that when I pressed the power button, the thing didn't explode. But I built my first miner a couple weeks back. My second miner I just built yesterday as well, and that took a fraction of the time. I knew what I was doing. I had a blueprint, and I put that thing together in probably less than 2 hours, where the first one probably took me the whole day just trying to make sure I didn't screw anything up and ruin all those good GPUs. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is certainly an interesting time for crypto in general. I think across the board, things are still booming for Bitcoin core enthusiasts. We'll see if this is just a little bit of a dip and if Bitcoin Cash is here to stay, or if this is really just, kind of the grand opening and things might just flatline from here. It's really going to be interesting to see what happens over Christmas and into the new year, right? The next couple weeks could be telling of some future trends. I'm just excited in general, Josh.
Yeah, to me, there's just more ways people can whatever diversify their cryptocurrency portfolio.
Hmm.
To me, kind of on Coinbase, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin were kind of, in my mind, I try to categorize the different cryptocurrencies out there by what kind of like function they kind of do.
Hmm.
So to me, there are three different ones, and Bitcoin Cash, now that it's involved on Coinbase and everything, you can trade it. It's kind of a competitor against Litecoin, so it'll be interesting to see, and I guess Bitcoin for that instance. So it's kind of interesting to see how
Yeah.
that'll play out. But yeah, it's one that I have in my
So
portfolio, and as I try to diversify, so that even though Bitcoin's going down today, and I have Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum, I also have some Bitcoin Cash, so it's also balancing out in the other way.
yeah. So to make that same point though, how Litecoin wants to work with Bitcoin, Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Cash, they have a shared history up until the fork. So a lot of their core technology is the same. Can Litecoin interface with Bitcoin Cash the same way that it could with the Lightning Network that it's supposed to with Bitcoin Core? Do you know what I mean? Like, could it work in tandem with either?
Yeah, that is a good question. I want to say, if I think about it, it can.
I see why Bitcoin
Um,
Cash wouldn't want to do that because they want that title, but it's an interesting future where if Bitcoin Cash were to kind of take the throne as the leading cryptocurrency instead of Bitcoin Core, does that actually mean the end of Litecoin, or is there a future where that quicker block still does have some specific utility?
yeah, right now I'm looking at a comparison between all the different coins, and for Bitcoin Cash, I do not see that it has SegWit. You need SegWit
Oh, it doesn't have
enacted
SegWit.
on
Okay.
it. Yeah, it doesn't have SegWit on it.
Bummer.
Um, and it may not need it because the whole reason of having SegWit was to, or I guess one of the benefits of having SegWit was to do the second layer Lightning Network things, but also to increase it has a side effect of also increasing the amount of transactions that the blockchain can handle.
Hmm.
So Bitcoin Cash, instead of doing that, they just made their block size 8 times bigger.
Yeah.
So you can fit 8 times, I think theoretically 8 times more transactions
Hmm.
than Bitcoin.
Okay. I see. Well, it'll be interesting as well to see what the future of Coinbase holds. Obviously, they become a little bit of a divisive figure in the community now because they hold so much control and so much sway, right? Choosing to add a coin to their exchange inherently is going to inflate the value of that coin because it becomes so much more accessible to a wide audience of people that are ready and excited to spend. It's like the entryway for the somewhat casual user as well as the hardcore day trading users that want to use GDAX, right? That's completely connected to Coinbase. You can move money and cryptocurrencies back and forth between the two platforms very seamlessly. So it makes you wonder, well, now that Pandora's box has been opened and we've got a new cryptocurrency outside of like the guaranteed three, at least on our side of the globe, what's next? What's going to be the fifth cryptocurrency to join Coinbase and at least get a temporary bump from their spot in the limelight?
Yeah, it's I know for a fact when Bitcoin uh, whatever was accepted to the CBOE and the CME on the future exchanges and was reaching these all-time highs, pretty much close to $20,000. The CEO of Coinbase was doing all the rounds on all the news and business networks, talking like Fox News, CNBC, all those, and just kind of trying to educate people on cryptocurrency. And they were asking him questions on what do you see in the future for cryptocurrency, and he was talking about the number one thing that people want, and the number one thing people want from Coinbase is to add more coins on their platform. And I believe he said in one interview that they're going to do that. He didn't say which coins, because that's the big question right now, because as you can see, Bitcoin Cash basically doubled in value, and over time, I can tell you, because I was looking at buying it a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, Bitcoin Cash was about $1,200.
Yeah.
So right now it's just shy of $4,000. And yesterday it just doubled basically. So there really is a Coinbase bump, I guess, when anything gets added onto there. It just opens it up to more people. And Coinbase has something that not other exchanges have, and that's that they have started they've started putting like institutional investors onto their platforms and offering products for them that other exchanges don't have. And these are for, when I say institutional investors, these are people investing over $10 million worth of US dollars into cryptocurrency. Yeah. So nothing that you or I would be doing. These products are meant for these financial institutions that want to get a piece of the cryptocurrency game, but also severely have a lot of security and everything, so that cryptocurrency doesn't just disappear if Coinbase was to get hacked.
Yeah, it's definitely scary. We always come back to this one conundrum. It's great that there is a little bit of centralization, so you have a good interface and a good backbone that is secure and relatively trustworthy, in a company who makes it their mission to provide a secure source for people, and pretty much have lived up to that, at least up till this point, right? But as more people use Coinbase, the more that effect is amplified. It's like the Oprah effect, right? You go on Oprah's show, you talk about your book, you become a #1 bestseller overnight. It's a little bit of that same sort of thing. So scary, but for now, I think we can enjoy the roller coaster, right, bud?
That's right. Now, they've been secure up to this point, and don't see any reason why they wouldn't. They're also working pretty closely with regulators and everything. And the Coinbase is a U.S. company, so they're working pretty closely with regulators as the tax man and the tax time is coming. And the IRS wants to know who's been doing what with their cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for good reasons. Now there are a lot of capital gains that I think will need to be applied for taxes coming up this year, right? This is maybe the first year that a fairly significant amount of people will be experiencing real gains. And if you're looking at 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x in some cases, you might want to be withdrawing some of that money. And that's when, a piece of that really, in theory, should be going to the tax man. So it's becoming all the more relevant from a tax code perspective, that's for sure. But all right, Josh, I think it's time to wrap this up. Hopefully everyone has a good holiday, a Christmas as well as New Year included. And then when we're back in 2018, we'll see what is cooking in the crypto market. But until then, we'll see y'all next time.